Laree, and I want to start this video off by saying it is 1:30 in the morning. 1:30, y'all. Blah, 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 blah. It's late. Hi guys, it's Laree, and this is a review of my brother Serger 1634D. Guys, I'm gonna tell you, it is after 2 a.m. in the morning. A sister is tired right about now, but I wanted to make sure I did this video because in a few hours I am taking a flight out to Sacramento and I'm gonna be gone for a while. I have packed up my sewing machine in my rolling tote, but I'm not taking my serger. So I wanted to make sure I did this review before I took off and left. Okay, let's get into the details. I'm gonna start with threading. This is the easiest machine that I have ever threaded, and I've had another serger before. I've used industrial sergers. I've worked on other brand sergers. This by far is the easiest. Now the manual does tell you when it comes to threading that you have to start with the upper looper first. Start with that first. Start here and then you go on to the lower looper and then to your left and right needles. So as long as you follow that, it should be fine. In my previous machines, I used to be able to cut the threads and then tie off a new color. Cut these off, take it away, put a new color cone on, and just pull all the threads out, and then start sewing. I can't do that on this machine because the tension is controlled with each one of these little knobs, and it's kind of difficult to push them all down and pull the threads. So I just thread it all over again anytime I want to change the color, but it's no problem because it's so easy. Taking off the presser foot, so this lever right here lifts the presser foot. If you push it back even more, it'll extend it to an even higher point. There's a little knob on the back of the machine, on the back of the foot, this little black knob. You push it in and your presser foot just falls right off. Okay, and then to put it back on, you do the same. Extend your presser foot just like you would your sewing machine presser foot, and put the foot back over that bar and press the knob again and it clicks right in. Let's talk about tension. So I've been using my manual quite a bit, and in the back of the manual it has a section where you can write down your tension settings, and I actually use this, and this has been so helpful. I've used so far on this machine, I've used knits. I used sturdy knits like a double knit. I used jersey knits. I've used woven fabrics like a poplin, cotton, and spandex. I've used heavier fabrics like denim. And what I did was, when I found that tension that was just right and the threading that looked just right, I wrote down all of those settings. So every time I get a piece of fabric that fits that profile, I just put it on those settings, and there it is. It's easy. In the very back of the book, like all the way back on page 57, it tells you about oiling, which encompasses like general upkeep of the sewing machine. And it says, for smooth and silent operation, the moving parts of the machine should be oiled periodically. See the diagram below. I'm going to insert pictures or video of me oiling the machine. Y'all, I put my hand in the way, so it's not going to be perfect, but I wasn't going to do it over again either. So, but you'll get the idea. says be sure to oil your sewing machine before use. So when you take it out of the box, before you sew anything, you need to oil it. I didn't catch this at first. I didn't do that, and I kind of thought, oh, this sewing machine is kind of loud. And it's kind of like sticky, you know, the wheel stuck. But after I read this and I oiled the machine, I was like, okay, that makes all the difference. Okay, so always clean the lint off your machine before you apply oil. Oil the machine once or twice a month for normal use. If the machine is used more often, oil it once a week. Okay, I got this machine because I needed it and I like put it to use right away. So I was oiling it every time. I was cleaning it and oiling it every time I got onto the machine because I was doing a lot at one time. I am out of my can, but I had one of those pressure spray air cans with like the long nozzle on it, like the straw. And I would take that, spray it, and it'll just blow all the lint out. When you do sew, the book tells you to lift the presser foot first, put your fabric in until it touches the knife, lower it, and then begin to sew. Otherwise, the fabric may not feed correctly. So that's something that's pretty important to keep in mind. I've never seen those instructions in any other serger that I've ever used. So sometimes I forget to, and I have to remember, no, lift the presser foot, put your fabric under until it touches the knife, and then lower it, and then start to sew. These are little things, okay? Little things that I didn't love so much about the machine. Okay, let's talk about this tray first. This little tray, it's small. I have to keep a trash bag or a little trash can next to me because this fills up just like that. It slides and it clips on just like so, but it's flimsy. It doesn't stay. Let's see what else is there. Let me put this back on. I found that these knobs here on the side, they're pretty tough to turn. You really gotta give it some muscle in order to get them to move. And as you're doing that, you have to control it so that you just don't like spin the dial all the way to the other side because you're trying so hard to move these. Yeah, they're not very fluid. Inserting the needles. Okay. I used the rolled hem setting with the 3-thread option. So I had to take one of the needles out, sew with 3 threads. After all that was said and done, I had to put my needles back in. And this is where I was like, oh my goodness, really? So when you unscrew this needle here, it unscrews, when you take this screw out, it lets both needles fall loosely. Okay, the serger that I had before, it had 2 screws, so you unscrewed and loosened one needle at a time. Okay, here's the issue with both needles falling out at the same time. That means you also have to put both needles back at the same time while holding the little tool. Guys, I was a mess. Those needles kept falling. I kept dropping the little tool, and then finally I got the bright idea to use my long tweezers to get my fingers out of the way because my fingers were in the way. I got the bright idea to use the long tweezers and clamp these down. Okay, so here they are. These are the tweezers that come with the machine, and I ended up having to hold them both like this, and then use the Allen wrench to tighten them inside. So that kind of discouraged me from changing my settings because I didn't want to have to deal with those needles like that again, but it is what it is. overall, it's a great machine, and that's just a little something that's kind of annoying. So there it is. There is my review of the Brothers 1634D serger. Overall, it is a great serger, easy to use, easy to thread, pretty solid. On the more quiet side, I mean, it's not completely silent, but it's on the more quiet side than other sergers that I've used before, which is great. It handles all types of fabrics well, and yeah, I'm happy with my serger. If you have anything to add that I did not cover, go ahead and leave it in the comments below.